Let me introduce myself. My name is Meysa Intan Fahlevi with NPM A1B024078H. Today, I would like to explain about three types of text in English, namely recount text, procedure text, and descriptive text. I will explain the mind mapping first, then continue with the example text and its analysis. So, let's get started. First, I will explain about recount text. As we can see in the mind map, recount text is a text that tells about past experiences or events. The purpose of recount text is to tell the readers what happened in the past through a sequence of events. Recount text has three generic structures. The first is orientation. Orientation introduces who was involved, when it happened, and where it happened. The second is events. Events tells the event in chronological order, from the first event until the last event. The third or the lastly is reorientation. Reorientation is the closing of the story or the writer's personal comments and or opinion about the experience. The language feature of recount text are use of past tense, use of action verb, use of pronouns and nouns, use of connectives, and the lastly use of adverbial phrase. Now, let's move to the example text entitled A Fun Holiday at the Beach. The text tells about the writer's holiday experience at Parangtritis Beach with the writer's family. In the story, the writer and family enjoy many activities such as building a sandcastle, riding an ATV, eating snacks together, and buying souvenirs before going home. For the analysis, the social function of this recount text is to tell the reader about past experiences through a sequence of events, namely the writer's holiday at Parangtritis Beach. In the orientation part, the writer says, "During the last school holiday, my family and I went to Parangtritis Beach. It was a sunny day, and we wanted to enjoy the fresh air and the sea view." These paragraphs introduce who was involved, when it happened, and where the story took place. In the event parts, the writers explain, "We left home early in the morning so we could spend more time at the beach." These paragraphs tells at the first event is chronological order during the holiday. The next paragraphs explain, "After that, my father rented an ATV and we rode it along the shore." This paragraph continues the event and activities at the beach. Then the writer says, "Before going home, I bought some souvenirs." This paragraph tells that final activities before returning home. In the reorientation part, the writer says, "That holiday at Parangtritis Beach was unforgettable." This paragraph closes the story and expresses the writer's feelings about the experience. The language features can be seen from the use of pronouns and nouns such as my family, my father, I. Action verbs like went, built, rented, and bought. Simple past tense, and adverbial phrase such as during the last school holiday. Adjectives like sunny, happy, and unforgettable. Next, I will explain about procedure text. As shown in the mind map, procedure text is a text that explains how to do or make something through a series of steps. The purpose of procedure text is to help us do a task or make something by giving instruction or direction. Procedure text has three generic structures. The first is goal. Goal shows the final purpose of the instruction or what will be made or done. The second is materials. Materials list the ingredients, tools, or equipment needed. The third is steps. Steps explain the instruction steps by step to achieve the goal. The language features of procedure text are use of imperative sentence, use of action verb, use of connectives or sequences, use of simple present tense, and lastly use of adverbs or measurement. Now, let's move to the example text entitled How to Make Banana Pancakes. This text explains the ingredients and the steps needed to make banana pancakes. The writer explained the process clearly, starting from preparing the ingredients, mixing them together, cooking the batter, and finally serving the pancakes. For the analysis, the social function of this procedure text is to help the readers make banana pancake by giving clear instructions and steps. In the goal part, the text says how to make banana pancakes. This part shows the purpose of the text, which is to explain how to make banana pancakes. In the material part, the text lists 2 ripe bananas, 2 eggs, half of flour. This part lists the ingredient needed to make banana pancake. In the steps part, the writer explained, mash the bananas in a bowl until smooth. Add the eggs and mix until well combined. These paragraphs explain the first steps of preparing the pancake batter. The next paragraph says heat a frying pan and melt a little butter. These paragraphs explain the cooking process of the pancake. Then the final step says serve with honey or syrup as desired. The sentence explains the final step before eating the pancakes. The language feature can be seen from imperative sentences such as mash the banana and add the eggs. Action verbs like mash, mix, and pour. Connectives and sequence words such as until and repeat. Lastly, I will explain about descriptive text. As shown in the mind map, descriptive text is a text that describes a particular person, place, animal, or thing in detail. The purpose of descriptive text is to describe a particular person, place, or thing. Descriptive text has two generic structure. The first is identification. Identification introduces or identifies the object that will be described. The second is description. Description describes the part of qualities, characteristic, or appearance of the object. The language features of descriptive text are focused on specific participant, use of attributive and identifying processes, use of adjectives or classifiers, use of simple present tense, and lastly, use of detailed description about characteristics or qualities. Now, let's move to the example text entitled Stars. The text explains about stars, their characteristics, colors, temperatures, and their beauty in the universe. These writers also explain that stars have inspired humans and helped sailors for many years. Okay, for the analysis, the social function of this descriptive text is to describe a particular thing, namely stars, including their appearance, characteristic, and function in the universe. In the identification part, the writer says stars are fascinating celestial objects that illuminate the night sky. This paragraph identifies the object being described, which is stars. In the description part, the writers explain stars are actually massive pairs of hot gases. This paragraph describes the characteristics of stars, such as their compositions, colors, and temperatures. The next paragraph says some stars, like our sun, are relatively close to Earth. This paragraph describes the distance of stars, their roles for humans, and the beauty they create in the night sky. The language features can be seen from specific participant, namely stars. Second, attributive and identifying processes such as stars are fascinating celestial objects. Third, classifiers like massive pairs of hot gases. Lastly, simple present tense such as stars are fascinating celestial objects. In conclusion, recount text is used to tell the past experience, procedure text is used to explain introduction or steps, and descriptive text is used to describe particular object in detail. Each text has different generic structure and language feature, so it is important for us to understand them correctly. Thank you very much for your attention. Bye. Have a nice day.